We
All right, win, good deal. All right, so, good evening, and, special welcome to all our veterans and to the family of veterans and family of, Sergeant Moya, Staff Person Sergeant Moya. And I'll call this meeting, regular meeting of November 7th, 2023, 6:30 PM to order. This time we'll be establishing a quorum, if you wouldn't mind, Commissioner.
Yes. Dr. Jacob C. Howell, Commissioner, place 1, present.
Amado Garcia, place 2, present.
Ruben Saldana, Commissioner, place 3.
And Oscar Montoya, Mayor Mercedes, and we have a quorum. Well, one short, Commissioner Martinez, and I know the traffic was bad coming over here, so I'm sure he's up there stuck in that. Moving on to the invocation, Commissioner, well, I don't know, is somebody from the family would like to say a prayer to start this off? Or somebody from the,
Christian soul down there.
anybody? Ms. Sines, would you mind saying a prayer?
From the Legion.
It can be short and sweet, no big deal. I've heard you say many.
Dear Lord Jesus, thank you so much for all of us being here today in memory of Sergeant Juan Moya Jr. We are all glad that we can make it, their family, to be here to see the proclamation of Sergeant Moya. So I thank you, Lord Jesus, I'm making it short and sweet, and give us our blessing. Amen.
Amen.
Tony, do you mind?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So I believe somebody wanted to say a poem, a few words. Jocelyn, do you remember who that was? Okay, Ms. Garcia.
I would like to sing Happy on You.
It would be an honor.
This is in memorandum, the American Legion family. This is the significance, it's in memorandum, the American Legion family. Okay.
That's okay.
Actually, I want to show the commissioners, I want to, I can.
Yes, you can approach us.
Thank you so much. Okay, the company is very well known to be the significance of the bloodshed of our veterans who perished.
Ms. Garcia, I moved it. I'm sorry, it's my fault. If you could move it back, thank you.
I'm not sure if everybody is aware of the poppy flower. It's the significance of the bloodshed from the beginning of wartime. And it's, we promote it, well, we don't promote it, we give it out 365 days out of the year. We don't just do it on Veterans Day, on Memorial Day. This little poppy flower is a significance 365 days out of the year. And along with this, I will say the point. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row, that marks our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scars heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though puppies grow in Flanders fields. Flanders fields is in, I believe, in France. So when the fields bloom, when the puppies are blooming, from a distance, from afar, it will be a reminder always that the bloodshed, that's where it all began.
Thank you. Moving on to the proclamation of Master Sergeant Juan Moya Sr. So when this is done, for Letty and Sylvia that went to school, they already know this. I never have a shortage of words. So I'm gonna say some stuff about Sergeant Moya and what I think he meant to us, to me specifically, and to the city. Office of the Mayor, City of Mercedes Proclamation in memory of Juan Moya Sr., Master Sergeant, United States Army, July 16, 1942, September 5th, 2023. Whereas Juan Moya Sr. was born on July 16, 1942 in Mercedes, where he graduated as a Tiger with the class of 1960. And whereas Master Sergeant Moya joined the National Guard at the age of 17 and entered active duty in 1962, where soon after he enlisted in the U.S. Army, where he attended airborne and special forces training. And whereas Master Sergeant Moya served 2 combat tours in Vietnam and continued to serve on tours in Thailand and Germany, where he attained the rank of Master Sergeant. And whereas Master Sergeant Moya served 22 years in the military as a Master Sergeant as a Green Beret and 25 years as a JROTC administrator and instructor in Mercedes, Weslaco, and Houston. And whereas Master Sergeant Moya returned to his hometown of Mercedes and dedicated his time to working with the youth at his boxing gym while serving the local veterans as commander of the J.A. Garcia American Legion Post 172, And whereas Master Sergeant Moya was passionate about teaching boxing and discipline to the youth and was an exceptional leader by obtaining and maintaining the American Legion J.A. Garcia Post 172 as his main objective of veterans serving veterans. And whereas Master Sergeant Moya, and this is probably the special thing for me because I'll repeat it after he said it the very first time. Whereas Master Sergeant Moya distinguished his hometown of Mercedes as the most patriotic little town in America. And now, therefore, I, Oscar D. Montoya, Mayor of the City of Mercedes, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of all the City Commissioners, Dr. Ruben Saldana, Dr. Jacob Howell, Joe Martinez Jr., and Armando Garcia, do hereby express sincerest appreciation to Master Sergeant Juan Moya Sr. and recognize his contribution to the youth and all veteran community, and do hereby proclaim November 7, 2023 as Master Sergeant Juan Moya Sr. Day. And further encourage all residents of the City of Mercedes to join in honoring Master Sergeant Moya for his service to the United States of America, his valiant service to the youth and veterans, and all the accomplishments he received during his lifelong pursuit of education and making Mercedes the most patriotic little town in America. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Mercedes to be affixed this 7th day of November, 2023. Congratulations. I could have the family come up with a picture and we can take photos of the veterans and the family. Is that okay? Or everybody together? How y'all want to do it? So the family first and then the veteran and then everyone? I didn't want to say it, I said, good deal, So, I just want to say a little bit something about Sergeant Moya, Master Sergeant Moya actually. And whether it was across from a taco or him speaking somewhere, there was just something about the way he carried himself that I thought was very honorable. You know, he always walked a certain way, and I saw him at the restaurant's changed name a couple of times, but I think, what is it now? The one that was before? Maria's, Mama Maria's now. And he got there one time, and my wife and I, my son had gotten there, and my grandchildren and my grandkid, and they took over his table, and I was like, oh crap, they got the veterans table, you know? I was like, remember the one on the side? And I was like, hey guys, and they had already brought the food, and I sat down and I hope I missed them. Maybe they came in early and left, right? Because you would come in with you, right? And sure as nothing, man, he comes walking in, and I was, like I said, he carries himself a certain way, and I said, man, he's gonna come and give me one of those drop and give me 20 things, And no, he was real gracious. He said hi to my family, and I offered to get up, right? And he said absolutely not, in the strong voice that he would, right? And they went and sat down in the middle table. But when we would come and do the presentations, he always instilled his dream of Mercedes being the most patriotic little city in America. And I would tell him every now and then, hey, I stole your phrase, right? He says, good, it needs to take off, is what he would tell me. So I would go around telling people, whenever I go somewhere or talk about Mercedes, I would tell them, and by the way, just so you know, there's a little man about that big that's pretty angry that says Mercedes is the most patriotic city in America. So I just wanted to make sure that you as a family know, and that you all as an organization know, and I think I had this conversation with you all at the table one time, there's a real sense of pride at where you all have gone as an organization. You all should be very proud of this, and I'm sure that he didn't do it by himself. He was always good about giving credit and his team and all that stuff. So I know it was all of y'all. But there's a certain pride when we put something together here in Mercedes, the amount of people that show up and the work that you guys still do to make sure that Mercedes is on the map as a patriotic city. And I can't, when I see you all at a funeral, or when I see you all at a function, and I see how you all work and how you all operate and what you all are doing to try and improve things at the Legion, the building and everything, just says a lot about who you all are and your willingness to give of yourselves. And I know Veteran Day is coming, and this is very apropos for your dad, for y'all's family, for Sergeant Moya, that we celebrate him this week. But anyway, I'm a story guy, and that's what I do. When I first found out he passed away, I got a call from my aunt. My aunt Yolanda graduated with him from high school, and anyway. So your dad asked me to go speak at their reunion, and it was real special for me that he asked me to do that, because your dad, I don't know how he was with y'all, but he never really gave me a whole lot of accolades, right? I didn't know with him if he liked me or didn't. I just knew he treated me like everybody else, so I was pretty proud of that. But when he called me to ask me to speak, he said some really nice things to me. And I would tell you all that probably it's not a big deal. He just said some nice things to me and asked me to speak, and I was very appreciative of that. And I just wanted you guys to know that he had an impact in my life, and that I know he had an impact in a lot of lives. And I'm very proud to have known him, and I'm very proud to have called him a friend. So I wish you much blessing. I wish you all healing. I know I've read some of the Facebook posts, and it's not easy. I lost my brother suddenly, and those are the worst ones, because you wonder if you said the right things and everything. But just know that your dad absolutely knew that he was loved, and he showed a lot of love himself. So I was very appreciative of getting to know him. So I wish you guys the best, and please take and be proud of what he accomplished here in Mercedes for us. Okay. I don't know if any of the other commission wants to say anything.
I'll just say just a few words. I knew him. He actually taught my son boxing as well, and even myself when I was little, when at the old Boys and Girls Club, my dad would take me over there. I respected the man so much. I know my father and the whole family and this whole community respected him so much. He did a lot for this community, and I just want to tell the family, thank you for having his presence and his family and his family here from the Legion as well. I mean, you guys are family. We're all family here in the city. Mercedes and the sergeant meant so much.
So just to kind of reiterate a little bit on what Jacob just said, a few years ago during the COVID, Sergeant Moya was awarded through the Chamber of Commerce the Man of the Year. And so, you were there present, it was limited to the amount of people because of the COVID, but it just goes to show, you know, the impact that he had on this community. So, you know, be proud, because he was a great man.
I don't know that I can add anything that hasn't already been said, and I think he's Sergeant Moy. My brother was in his ROTC, and I guess he wasn't the stellar ROTC one, because he never said anything bad, but he never said anything especially good. So I know he was a little bit challenging to him and his buddies. But you know, that's what he would tell every time I'd see him. He'd say, "Your brother is soup." But you know, all I'll add to what the mayor said is you know, he had a presence about him. He had a way of speaking where you listened, and you knew that if you did not listen, you were going to miss something very important. And so every time he spoke, I listened very, very closely to everything he said and how he said it. So we've lost an icon in this community in Sergeant Moya for sure. And the blessing of it all is that we'll always remember everything that he did, and his contribution to this community will continue for years and years to come. And that's the greatest tribute that we can pay to him, is to remember him and to follow the good advice that he gave us over the years, and the many contributions he made to the American Legion, to the youth of this community, and to the community at large. So it's our honor to have this chance to honor him, and we thank you all so much for being here and filling this room up for such a great cause. So thank you, and may God bless all of you, and may the Lord keep you always.
Right. So, as always, when something like this happens, it's hard to move on, but hopefully this was as enjoyable to you all as it is to us, and just know that everything that came out of this was heartfelt, and thank you. God bless you guys. We're gonna have to move on to our meeting, so y'all are more than welcome to stay and get bored by us. Don't feel like you offend us if you leave. Y'all don't want to see how business gets done?
Please stay.
We have a bunch of amendments for building maintenance, if you'd like
It's in English.
It's awesome. Oh, look at that.
Wait, this is about free brisket? No. Boy, that was emptied out fast. All right, well, welcome to whoever's left, and I'm gonna move on to consent agenda. Do we have anybody on consent agenda? Oh, my bad, I'm sorry. Is there anybody for open forum? That's what I meant, my bad. Nobody? Okay. Moving on to consent agenda, item 7, I have approval of minutes, meeting held October 16, 2023, October 30th, 2023. Approval of budget amendment for building maintenance, approval of budget amendment for planning department. Motion to approve. I have a motion by Commissioner Garcia. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Saldana, Mayor Pro Tem Saldana. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
The budget amendment pulls some money out of personnel and into capital improvement for the bathrooms. Were those the ones that got vandalized? I figured, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you.
Hopefully we can get that to stop. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to city manager comments, moving meeting date for January 2nd, 2024 to Thursday, January 4th, 2024.
Mayor Commission, that's the date that we have our holiday, as a day off for city employees. That's what we're asking for.
Do we need, is that something we can do on our own? Or do we need a motion and second for that? Do we need a
I think it was the comment.
I think it's just a comment.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, all right. So moving on to item 9A, approval of resolution 2023-20 for the temporary closure of state right-of-way for Christmas parade. And I think we have the same thing for the marathon. Approval of resolution 2023-2021,
Mayor,
temporary closure, but
I'd like to make approval for ordinance and resolutions 9A and B.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dr. Howell. I have a second by Commissioner Garcia for approval of item A and B. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. We also have approval of resolution 2023-22 adopting procedures for open forum. And I want to go ahead and read that. Do you have it? I think she's got it.
If I can get through all these maps, I think that'll be under here.
So I'll read this all over. So whereas the City Commission, City of Mercedes wishes to cooperate with the State of Texas for the safety of communities. Oh, wait a minute.
You didn't have to get too far for it.
All right, here we go. Okay, so resolution 2023-22, a resolution of the City of Mercedes to adopt a resolution ensuring members of the public are provided the opportunity to speak on Mercedes City Commission agenda in order to hear public input regarding agenda items by setting instructions and rules of procedures and in order to comply with Texas Government Code 551.007. Whereas the City of Mercedes Code of Ordinances provides the detailed procedures and orders of business for the City of Mercedes City Commission meetings, and whereas the current ordinance provide the audience an opportunity to address the Commission during public hearings. Whereas the City Commission believes it is important to ensure they hear from members of the public on the topics the Commission has on the agenda. Whereas Texas Government Code 551.007 requires that members of the public have the right to address the City Commission at an open meeting. And whereas Texas Government Code 551.007 allows a government body to adopt reasonable rules regarding the public's right to address the body under this section, including rules that limit the total amount of time that a member of the public may address the body on a given item. So, and I'm gonna, before I finish the I'll say it at the end. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Commission of the City of Mercedes, Texas will do the following: set forth rules regarding the public's right to address the body in open forum. In order to address the City Commission during open forum portion of the agenda, you must first complete the form and give it to the City Secretary 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Topics to be discussed must be limited to the items on the agenda. Forms will not be accepted after 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. And it's always, same place it's always been available. It's available at the City Council chambers prior to scheduled City Council meeting. Please remember to step to the podium when you are recognized by the mayor and state your name and address before beginning your presentation. If speaking on behalf of an organization or other group, identify the group represented. All presentations by citizens are limited to no more than 3 minutes. In order to ensure that meetings are conducted in an efficient manner, maximum length of time of forum is 30 minutes, with individual presentations limited to a maximum of 2 minutes. Presentations will be made in the order completed. Participation forms are received. If you have written remarks or printed material you wish to present to the City Commission, please furnish them to the City Secretary. This would be at the time of signing. Speakers should address all remarks to the City Commission as a whole, not to individual members. All persons who complete a citizen open forum participation form, whether or not allowed to speak, may submit written comments or exhibits to the City Secretary. No shouting or cursing is allowed at City Commission meetings. Purposely disrupting a public meeting is a violation of state law and may result in the offending party being made to leave the meeting and can lead to criminal charges. Number 9, employees' exceptions to open forum. All comments regarding an employee are strictly prohibited. Any complaints regarding an employee would need to be addressed to the city manager's office during normal business hours. Can I get a motion or,
Motion to approve?
I have a motion by Commissioner Garcia, do I have a second?
Second. Discussion?
Second by Commissioner, Saldana, and discussion, yes, that's what I wanted to do. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Sure. As much as I respect, this commission and the rules and regulations of the freedom of speech and the open forum of 55707, there's a Greek word that says, or that's pronounced perhesia with a sigma s, and that means free speech, or also means candid of speech. And so my only argument or concern is I've never been here when we've had tons and tons of people wanting to speak. For me, 5 minutes is appropriate. I think everything in the new regulations that we're putting onto the new procedures, I'm fine with. But limiting the minutes, in my opinion, not representing the commission, but in my own opinion, is Pharisees. I believe in freedom of speech, and I believe that 5 minutes is appropriate.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure that, the reason I read this is that there's, you know how things take off and people turn everything into a mess. And, you know, since the day I ran for office, ever since I've been here, I've never shied away from controversy or things, hitting things head on, because to me, that's the best way to do it. So I'm gonna put out some things about this so that we make sure that people are clear why we're reading this. The majority of this stuff is the same as it was before. The issue is that we wanna make sure people are educated. Historically, well, probably over the last year and a half or so, actually the last year has been fairly quiet. But prior to that, we had people that were coming up here yelling and cursing and saying stuff about people. And I allowed it because I wanted to revamp our policy and wanted to get this resolution done so that we did it all correctly and it was a square deal, okay? So none of this was built to change the fact that we want, and Commissioner Howell's notwithstanding, I'm not against it. That's his personal opinion. I'm on the 3-minute deal. I have no problem with that. I'm talking about as a whole. The people that were coming up here for whatever reason, I couldn't get them to understand that there's a reason why most of these rules are here. For instance, not talking about employees. It's not because we don't want you to talk about our employees. It's because when you speak on open forum, we cannot communicate back to you. So people were coming over here calling employees names, accusing them of things that they have no capability to defend themselves because they can't, because they're the victims now of slander, of innuendo, and it's just not fair. Even us as a commission should not be belittling, which would occur before, belittling our employees, because this is not a forum. There's no forum here for them to protect themselves. That's all that is. If you want to complain about an employee, you have every right to, but you complain to him. We have no authority over that employee. So when people would come and bash employees here, all they were doing was trashing somebody because that person has no ability to defend themselves. So I want to be very clear about what that's about. We don't want, if you have a problem with one of our employees, we need to know about it. But the proper channel is the city manager's office or our HR department. That's where it goes. And then he'll address it to us. There's even a law that protects them. There's a law that allows us to go, or that tells us that if we're gonna discuss an employee, we have to go in executive session. We cannot discuss an employee out here unless they choose to be discussed out here. So they have their own rights. That's all that is. So if anybody out there starts to turn this into something that it's not, just send them back to this video, tell them to come look it up, or they can call me. I give everybody my phone number, 975-5829. They're more than welcome to call me, and I will tell them exactly what this rule is. Not what they make up on Facebook, but what the rule is, okay? The other part is, and I'm not getting after anybody here, it's just, you need to understand our frustration of what we had to go through when people were bashing our employees and we couldn't say anything. So it's more with that. I just wanna make sure it's clear what this is about. As far as signing up, the 10 minutes, that's always been there. The 3 minutes is just because that's gonna allow, believe it or not, it allows more people to speak because of the 30-minute cutoff. So what was happening is people were talking for 5 minutes, taking up the whole 5 minutes, so it limits the amount of people that can speak. I want you to speak. We as a commission want everybody. We want you to have an opportunity to speak. So that's the reason for that. For anybody, again, make something up, very specific, I'm being very transparent here. 3 minutes allows more people to speak than 5 minutes when you limit it to a 30-minute window so that we can run the meeting correctly. So we don't have people sitting in the audience waiting to listen to everybody for an hour, hour and a half, okay? That's the bottom line of it. Everything else is self-explanatory, but again, I just wanted to make sure that I said my part. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about it, Commissioner, but I just wanted to, that's me, and it's coming personally from me. I did not poll the commissioners. I don't know what they think about it, but that's my feeling about this.
Mayor, before you all came into office, the limit on the open forum was 3 minutes, and then at one point it got moved up to 5. So in all reality, it usually had always been 3 minutes, so.
And I think that's the common number across the majority of places. Commissioner Gordon.
The only two things I would add is, one is that if the only two things that really have changed is 5 minutes to 3 minutes. And my understanding, and I may be wrong, but I think if we have someone in here that has an important topic with a lot of information and they hit the 3 minute mark, I'm not aware of any rule or law or anything that would limit you, that would not allow you to extend those remarks if you felt it would contribute to the cause. That's one. So I think 3 minutes allows more people to talk, like you said. And in the case that someone has a lot more to say and we feel like they've got things that would be beneficial, you can exercise your right to extend that, I would think. Maybe I'm wrong. The other thing too is limiting the comments to things that are on the agenda help us to be able to respond later in the agenda to any comments that are made. Because when you make comments that we can't respond to and are not on the agenda, we can't. It's certainly people's right to speak, but it's not very helpful or productive to the business of the meeting. And there's other ways of doing that as well. I mean, if we really need to talk about it, we can put it on the agenda and then we can have a good discussion about it. And we have a city manager. We have a city administration that in my view, I mean, if you've got something to say and you want to say it publicly, I guess you can. But if you want something done about it, I'd go to Albert Bettis and talk to him about it. And I think, that's a lot more practical way of going about, having a conversation about a real issue if you do want some resolution to that. So that was a comment you made that I think is well made, Mayor, and that's what I'd have to add to the discussion.
My final rebuttal, if I may, Mayor, was just, again, I agree with the rules and regulations. I understand why this is in place. I totally respect the commission. I totally respect these rules and regulations under 5507. However, I feel we've never had the problem and issue of the number of people wanting to speak. The problem has been, one, either the content coming out, or the respect factor or the attacks, which is, again, that's their freedom. And here as a commission, we signed up for the job, but our employees don't deserve that, and I totally understand that, and I stand behind our employees, and we all do. However, I think limiting the amount to 3 minutes, that's where my concern and frustration, and it upsets me a little bit. Even in Congress and the State House of Representatives, people get their 5 minutes. I think here at the city, I think 5 minutes is fine, and your normal person is not a professional speaker. Sometimes they need some time to regroup and kind of need those moments and seconds to get what they're trying to say. So I think 5 minutes to me was fine. That was never an issue. But again, respect the commission and respect the rules and regulations moving forward. And whether it's approved or not, respect it either way.
Thank you, sir. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Martinez is present at 7:08 PM. Commissioner, do you have anything to say, sir?
No, I'm really good.
We had a motion and second on the
I have
approval.
one
Oh, go
comment
ahead, go ahead.
In order to just streamline whatever council decides, number 3 says no more than 3 minutes and number 4 says maximum of 2 minutes. So I would just recommend that whatever council decides be consistent through 3 and 4.
My recommendation is to stay with the 3 minutes on both. I think it was a typo, so.
Yes.
No, Mayor, I'm just, I know that this item was coming up, and I think everybody's already said their piece in regards to that. From my take of it, I see it as whenever we walk through these doors, we're doing the people's business, and that's what matters. And in the open forum, people should have a right to speak on items pertaining to what we're going to be deciding on. And lately, there has been some people that have gone away and astray from it. I believe that 3 minutes is sufficient. As a matter of fact, if you do your research, you'll find a majority of municipalities do cover 3 minutes, and I believe the state house to be the same. The idea in some of the classes I've attended in the past, especially in TML, is when they were discussing the regulation of time, they said, well, consider 6 people with 5 minutes. That's 30 minutes. That's a big chunk of the meeting. And there are people that have come from far distances to present their business before this council. Now, I think that it's right that every person should have their voice heard. And I want to make that perfectly clear that we're not limiting that. But we are trying to say, be respectful of the business that we are doing here as you walk through those doors. It's the people's business. People have a right to speak, but let's not drag that on and create a charade and a circus as we've seen in the past. When you walk through these doors, it's official business and we have to take it in that manner. And so therefore, I think that those changes should be made and limit them to 3 minutes. Now, I would say this, should there be, what we can do is maybe we can present a rule or maybe a side note, or I don't know, where maybe you, Mayor, have the authority to offer additional time if the speaker is not finished with their message and if you feel sufficient that they can continue. I don't know if that's practical to do, but I just figure, 3 minutes is good enough, but if there should be additional time, maybe there should be something written where you allow them to continue maybe an additional 2 minutes for the total of 5 in the event that it need be. That's just my take.
So I guess that's everybody, to me, just so we get this thing cleared about the problem with the additional minutes is that it's gonna be subjective instead of, it's gonna be subjective. But what I've done in the past, and I think I would continue to do, is when somebody has a legitimate, not just a gripe, but a legitimate concern, the easiest thing is to put them on the next agenda. And I think that, because I think the most frustrating as I've seen people, especially like the ones that are just coming to complain, they're just getting it off their chest, I understand that. But the ones that are coming that are like desperate for an answer, they're being cheated because we're just, the idea is to coach them correctly. And the best way to coach them is to say, look, let's get you on the agenda. And that way you can really speak your mind, and I don't know if they know this, and hopefully they're listening, is the best way to be heard actually is to go to the city manager. if you come to us here in open forum, we cannot answer you by law. And that's what you're being robbed of.
And
So
I think that's been the issue, I think that's been the issue, Mayor, when they, a person comes complaining about it.
Yeah.
With all their right, no problem, on an issue, and they want an answer, like you're saying, and we can't
And
speak.
that's why, and that's another reason, the 3 minutes is not for them to come and debate a situation. It's to bring something to our attention and to bring something to the attention of the commission that's on the agenda, and it shouldn't really take more than 2-3 minutes. It's real simple. I agree, disagree with this for this X reason, whatever. If they wanna do more than that, like I said, the best way to do is to go to the committee. We even make sure that we don't miss this part. They can email, send in, or provide the city secretary with a written, if they wanna give a 20-minute deal and talk, they can give it to the city secretary while she's here, and that in turn will come to us as a commission, so.
And Mayor,
Anyway, I'm gonna
and
go
if we
ahead,
can just
but-
have it noted, I've seen in the past where people have had, general concerns, and city manager, you and assistant city manager and staff have
Take
gone
this
to them, taken them aside, get their information, followed up on that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just good to be noted that we take everything that's being said seriously. What we're trying to do is just maintain order so that we can have a smooth meeting to get the business done and not have to be here in a charade.
Yep, that's right. And at the end of the day, we're not trying to limit people, we're just trying to make it better. So that's it. And we're here to help our city commission, like you said, our city manager and assistant manager have, even some of our department heads. I think Commissioner Martinez brings up a good point. When somebody leaves here, especially if they're really, really charged up, they'll go out there to their credit and go meet with them, so. I'd like to call for a vote now. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. Moving on to item D, approval resolution to submit bills for the Hidalgo County Appraisal District Board of Directors. I know this one needs to go in pretty quick. I know Commissioner Daniel, you're on the ballot.
Yes, I'm on the ballot, so I need to abstain.
Yeah, I would like to make a case, of course, absolutely, I'd like to support Commissioner Saldana on this, but for my part, right? So I don't know how y'all wanna do it. The other person that is from our area is Mr. Olivares from the Wesco area. In case anybody, and I don't know, you got the good class on it, is he able to explain a little bit to us if he's abstaining, Marty? Can he speak to something that he knows if he's abstaining from the vote?
I would not recommend.
No, okay, well, I'll do the best I can. So, on the appraisal district board, which is where we go and try to, like, if you don't like what they're saying about your house or what they're appraising it at, that's the board that oversees that. I would be a huge benefit for Mercedes to have somebody on that board. It's a huge voting block. Every city gets votes from all of us, from Sullivan City to Mercedes and everything in between according to the size of their city. So it's really important that we think about what we're gonna do here. I don't know how many votes, how many do we get, 40? Or is it 30 votes? We get 30 votes. To give you an example, I think the county gets 200 and some. So it breaks down according to the size of cities, maybe more. I would hate to lose local people. We can either put all our votes behind one person, we can break it up into people. So I don't know, I'll leave it up to you guys. We can do just Dr. Saldana, we can do some for Dr. Saldana, some for Mr. Olivares, who is the Wesco guy, or if y'all know somebody that you believe in from somewhere else, we can give him too. But at the end of the day, we have 30 votes to put out however we can. So I'm just explaining to y'all how it works. I'll leave it up to y'all. What y'all wanna-
I don't know how everybody else would feel, but I'd like to keep the guys in Mid-Valley, so I'd say maybe 20 Dr. Saldana and 10 Olivares.
Okay, is that a motion? That's your motion? Let's see what
I'll
happens.
make a motion, yep, go ahead and.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia. Discussion?
All of them say 25-5, but that's fine.
It's not election year.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye, all those opposed, same sign, motion carries.
All right.
Moving on to item number, congrats on the votes there, Doc. Moving on to, item 10A, I'm sorry.
So management items stay included.
Okay, have approval agreement, temporary closure of state right of way for the Christmas parade.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, management items, I don't know if we can, items A and B, since we've already kind of discussed.
Yes,
them.
correct. Yes, sir.
Second.
I'll have a motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign, and that is for 10A and B. And item C, approval to allow city manager enter into contract recommendations for insurance carriers RFP 2023-004 Group Health, Dental, Vision, and RX Insurance.
Mayor, I make a
Motion.
motion to, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, sir.
I have a motion by Commissioner by Commissioner Howell, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez, any discussion?
I'd like to hear anything that needs to be said about this.
Yeah, Commissioner, and Mayor and Commissioners, we have an agent of record, present that can come and speak on regards to the details. We did take into account the changes and the increases that we're subject to this year, and we believe we've selected the best option in the best interest of the employees. There were some other options that we could have done a little better in pricing and all that, but at the end, when an employee has a major, let's say surgery or whatever, the percent that they would have to put out of pocket would be a little higher. So we took all that into consideration with the agent of record's recommendation, best option available. I don't know if you'd like to add any more to that?
So, the only carrier that provided,
Thank you.
good evening, Commissioners, Mayor.
Thank you.
So, the only, medical carrier that provided, a bid was Blue Cross Blue Shield, who's the incumbent. So, in order to be within the budget that the city provided, there are just minor changes, which would include a $5 increase in copay and 10%, increase in co-insurance. Deductible stays the same, out-of-pocket max stays the same. So it would be minimal disruption to the employees, and because it's a lower percentage overall increase, it actually will be a slighter decrease in their dependent coverage premiums as well. It won't be as large of an increase. The higher the premium goes, then the higher
Their part, that's it.
correct.
How much is it affecting them more or less?
So,
Based off of this, it's going up about $120 compared to
For the year or
almost
for
per month.
per month, 120?
well, no, I didn't get I don't have what they currently pay, I just put in what the difference would be. So,
So, and this difference is per year or per,
the difference is per month. Oh, okay, yeah, so I do have it. So it's, no increase for employee only. It's $86.73 for employee and spouse, which you have nobody currently on. $53.32 for employee and children, which you have 5 people on. And there is an increase in family coverage of $140 for the month, but you only have 1 employee with that. The majority, which is 118 employees, are on the employee-only plan, which is at no cost to them.
Okay, so just to get some additional, or repeat that information, so on the ones that are on the employee benefit plan, that is no cost to them, right? Okay.
The only change would be in the dependent coverage, because the city pays for the employee-only cost. So the difference between the premiums of the dependent coverage, which is spouse, children, family, that's what the employees would have to pay. But you only have 5 people with children coverage, which would be $53 more a month, and you have 1 employee with family coverage, that would be $140 more a month.
okay, so $25 a paycheck and $75 a paycheck.
Yes, sir.
Now, the dental and vision change, we did have a lot of employees who were not satisfied with the previous plan, so we've changed that, but it's still a good plan.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to, because a lot of times I know, at least for us, like at the county, I don't know about everybody else, but we get a little bit of increase and then our insurance increases, so we get no increase. And then we end up negotiating the health insurance to a lesser health insurance. I mean, we have like, one of the things that bothers me about our insurance sometimes is like, for instance, you'll go with some kind of injury and somebody from New York will tell you, nope, you don't get an MRI, when the doctors are all telling you you need one. And I don't know if that's just the way it works or if it's the quality of the insurer. I just would wanna do as little, cause I know as an employee, I hate it when I get treated like that, and I don't know what this particular, I guess we can't be choosy because it's the only one, right?
Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield has very comprehensive coverage.
Okay,
So if an employee ever comes into a situation like that, then they can just call our office and we would be there to talk to the carrier directly to find out why there was an issue with it, and then if additional information maybe they were considered as not medically necessary, what the provider would have to submit in order to get those tests approved. But that's very rare that I've seen.
so one other question, does this mean that, cause I know employee only, the city covers that. Did our insurance go up as well with the city? I know there was a lot of claims, so so it's not, we're just not hitting these 3 employees. We're taking the hit as a city as well.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I just wanna make sure I clarify that.
So your increase overall is at a 14.7% increase this year.
So we're absorbing a 14% increase as a city to ensure that employees can continue to have insurance at no cost to them if it's just the employee. And then
Yes.
passing on some of those cost increases based on who else they wanna add to their policy.
Yes, sir.
So shop the outlet, go to McDonald's, go to Chick-fil-A.
Well, it's nice that we can at least contain
Yeah.
that for the employees, because that's the highest priority, and then to the extent that we can help their families as well, I think that's good.
The initial rate increase though was at 23.7%, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So the experience, their claims experience, which is what the carrier paid out versus what the city paid in a premium, was higher. That's where the increase comes. You've already plateaued, so next year you'll be going on a more positive note. So I would recommend next year to go out for RFP again, and this way you get more competitive rates from like United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and those carriers. But at this point, because the claims experience was so high, it was very hard to get competitive quotes.
City manager, and I know we have an insurance expert here, Mr. Commissioner Garcia. Looking at the packets that we had compared to these packets and looking at the other pricing, this was the best option, correct?
That is correct, Commissioner Howell. So, when the proposals were given to us, I did review everything, and based off of the recommendations here, I agree 100% with the recommendations.
And those were kind of what made sense to us, I remember, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that broke the front bench on my house when we dropped it all off. And, you read through it all and try to make sense of that, and still sleep at night. But I just remember that the recommendations you're making were kind of what made sense to us, but without the benefit of that expertise and further analysis and all of that. So I'm real, it feels good to have you come up with the same recommendations that we were kind of leaning toward, and to have someone look at that with some expertise. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous on item 10C. Thank you, ma'am, appreciate you. Item 11, executive session discussion with city manager regarding personnel matters, section 551.074. Consultation with attorney regarding update on litigation, section 551.071. Consultation with attorney regarding contract for services, section 551.071. May I have a motion to go into executive?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're in executive session, 7:30 P.M. Alright, so it's 9:15 PM. I call this meeting back in session.
AM or?
I'm sorry, PM, I'm sorry, 9:15 PM.
It just seems like it's.
It just seems like it, man. So we have, item, A, discussion manager regarding personnel matters, no action there. We have, consultation with attorney regarding update on litigation. Do we have something for that?
From here. I move that we proceed with litigation, directing the attorney to pursue litigation as discussed in executive session.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Saldana. I have a second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to discuss, because we will need a resolution authorizing us to go, offer a settlement in, let me give you the exact cause number so that the minutes reflect it. C 156420J, City of Mercedes versus Guadalupe Fujarte. And this offer will be unconditional, and will expire in 10 days.
Would you amend your motion?
Sure, if I can remember all of that.
Adopt everything I just said.
Yes, I move
It's in the
that,
minutes.
okay. All right, well, let me restate the motion then. The motion then would be that we direct the attorney to pursue litigation in cause number C 1564-20J in versus
City of
Guadalupe,
Mercedes.
City Mercedes versus Guadalupe Fugate.
Yeah, motion.
And that offer of settlement to be limited to 10 days.
Via resolution.
The resolution, yes.
I have a motion by Dr. Saldana. I have a second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, consultation with attorney regarding contract services. No action on that. And then I guess that's 12A, B, and C. Motion for adjournment.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. 7:17 PM, and we are adjourned.